I'm Oliver Sloup with Blue Line Futures, and this is your Tech Talk for Tuesday, March 15th. We've just got two markets for you today. We're going to touch on corn as well as live cattle. And we're touching on these two markets because we've got one seasonal that just kicked off here on Sunday evening and one that starts up here just in a couple of days. And I want to bring to your attention, if you haven't been made aware of already, that we've started working a lot more closely with MRCI, or More Research Center, to provide a lot of historical data as well as historical trends for specific markets, and really help generate a little bit more actionable trade ideas with some historical backing. And if you want to learn more about that, you can go to our site, bluelinefutures.com, research tab, scroll down to seasonal trends, input your information there, and you'll get set up to receive that email, as well as kind of a portal where you can log in and find what you're looking for. And if you can't find what you're looking for, please feel free to reach out. We'll be more than happy to help you get squared away on that end. So, without further ado, we'll kick things off with the May corn seasonal. This is what we sent out on Sunday afternoon. Post a lot of great content on our site. You go to Research tab, the free button, just to tell you how to get there. Scroll down here. This is the live cattle one, which we'll get to in a second. A little bit further, the May corn seasonal. You can find out more about that. Kind of walk through it roughly here, but this started March 13th and goes through March 30th. This has been in a bearish trend during this time period for 13 out of the last 15 years. And we've got that highlighted here. Scroll a little bit further down, you can see the year-by-year breakdown, entry price, exit price, best equity, worst equity, etc. And I always got to remind people this is not standalone trade recommendations. Obviously, there's a lot of other variables at play, especially in this environment. We've got Russia and Ukraine. We've got high input prices, we've got crude oil flying around, and money just flying around in all of these commodity markets. So take the seasonal trends with a little bit of grain of salt, but I think it's a good starting point for generating an actionable trade idea. As mentioned, fundamentals, very important. Technicals, obviously, always important in our book. This is the May corn contract that we've got pulled up here. So this was Sunday night. We pressed up against trendline resistance, sold off, and held trendline support here in the early morning. We're continuing to consolidate, forming a little bit of a bull flag. And typically, this leads to a bigger directional move, whether that be a breakout or a breakdown. Obviously, if you're trading the bearish seasonal, you want to see a breakdown below this trendline support to open the door for a little bit more selling pressure, potentially taking us back down towards the recent low end of the range right here, which is kind of where we stalled out originally, and that comes in a little bit closer towards that 730 area. Now again, if you're trading the short side, breakout above this trendline resistance is your key to take your medicine, move on, let the dust settle, and potentially wait for a better opportunity to try selling again, or just move to the sidelines and visit other markets and other opportunities. So that's what we're looking at for the corn market. The live cattle market, I'm going to pull it up here. We posted this. You can go to our site. Obviously, same kind of thing with corn. We've got the yellow highlighted box pulled up here. This is for December live cattle. March 16th to April 8th has been profitable to the bullish side for 12 out of the last 15 years. You can see the year-by-year breakdown here. Again, best equity, worst equity, entry price, exit price, etc. But let's look at the chart. So obviously, we got aggressively sold here with a lot of that peak panic between Russia and Ukraine, but a lot of the outside market starting to come in. We've seen the precious metals collapse. We've seen oil collapse, and so a lot of that fear is coming out of the market, and that's actually boosting cattle, which is to be expected. We got out above some big resistance levels here yesterday. Conviction closed out above, and we're able to defend that in today's session. So this 139.5, 140 area is going to be a big pocket. I think the bulls have a bit of an advantage here so long as they can defend that, break and close back below there, take your medicine, move on, wait for the next setup. The next objective here in the very near term, 100-day moving average, that comes in right at about 141.85. If we get out above there, then I really think we've got a good shot at closing the gap from February 24th, and that comes in a little bit closer towards 144.5. And that kind of lines up with the bullish seasonal that kicks off, I guess, technically tomorrow. So these are a few different things to keep an eye on. Corn in live cattle during the seasonal trend, and I think the fundamentals are probably a little bit higher conviction for the live cattle seasonal trend, especially if we can defend this new support, get out above the 100-day moving average. You got the seasonal as a little bit more conviction to your trade setup here, and that's the way you do it. So this has been Oliver Sloup with Blue Line Futures. Again, if you have any questions at all about seasonal trades or opening an account with us, feel free to give me an email, oliver@bluelinefutures.com. Remember, trading futures and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Thanks a lot.